Hello and welcome back to FlowState. How are you doing? I hope you're well. We're on the north coast of Tenerife, Atlantic Ocean, sunset. It's gonna be a fabulous episode. We're gonna be talking about goal setting. We're gonna be talking about how to leverage your actions to compound momentum. We're gonna be talking about whatever pops into my little mind. So, a little update on life. If you're joining me for the first time on these adventures, this is FlowState, where I press record and start talking. There's some dead air, there's some rapid fire thinking, there's a little confusion, a little salt, a little pepper, a little goofiness, and beautiful location. As always, we try to do our best. So, dropping into the show notes is a great way to connect with me with the projects that are ongoing. Dropping into the comments, great way to connect with me where I can answer questions, help guide and coach you on whatever you have going on in your life. You can join Everyday Action, which at the time of this recording is at no cost to you. So I would definitely encourage you to do that, where we host live group coaching. There's a community of like-minded individuals who are all focused on personal development, growth, taking action in their life to be able to uplift the human experience for them and the world around them. So get on that. The links are in the show description, the description of the podcast, and the 10 steps to everyday action. The 10 steps to everyday action is an ebook with 10 steps to take action on every day to be able to amplify your efforts that will accompany the actionable steps with a 100-day email course delivered right in your inbox, also at no cost to you. My objective with everything that I publish and set out to do is to be able to create value for people immediately and to be able to provide actionable strategies for them to incorporate into their life. Take action, take fucking action right now. Pause the video, click the links, drop your email, that's all. That's all you need to do. And it happens automatically. The work, that needs to come next. You need to take work seriously as it relates to personal development and your growth if you're looking to make a meaningful leap forward in your life. Goals, that was on the forefront of my mind today. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about reasonable goals, unreasonable goals, the differences between dreams and goals. There's so many incredible nuances to what people have in their mind as to something that is achievable or in reality is something really is, a combination of a pipe dream. Which way am I going here? Maybe I go this way. Sometimes I get lost, So, what is the difference between a dream and a goal? A dream is massive. You can have massive goals, but in general, a dream is going to be bigger than just one goal. A dream could be, I want to lose 100 pounds, whereas a goal that accompanies that dream is, I want to lose 10 pounds. And certainly the goal of losing the 100 pounds is there, but it's so far out in the distance, you need to establish a few pillars that are achievable before getting there. You're not going to just lose the 100 pounds before you lose the 10 pounds. That's not how that works. Just like your goal of making 10K a month, you're going to be looking at, unless you're already leveraged and planning various moves that are going to get you there in those one moment kind of shots, But let's break it down. Let's start with like 5K a month or 4K a month, something that's more manageable, something that actually is the catalyst for you then to take further action that has a compounding effect. So when we look at goals, when we look at dreams, I think it's important to couple them together. I also think it's important to have unreasonable goals. So it's essentially reframing the idea of what a dream is and applying it as the concept of a goal. So we can do this by looking into the future and just setting crazy unreasonable goals that is very possible are not necessarily achievable. But the byproduct of that are all of the steps that you took that are in alignment with that unachievable goal, that unreasonable goal. And those compound. And those are successes that happen over time that are so valuable and so beautiful and worth every bit of celebration. So let's break down the strategies that can be used on a daily basis to create clarity, momentum, and habits. We need to get clear first, because when we have clarity, everything falls into place. When we lack clarity, we have a feeling of anxiety, overwhelm, a little discombobulation. It's like asking a 2-year-old to make you supper. Are you ready? Are you ready for that? It'll be a wild ride. It may taste amazing, it may be a little off, but it's going to be a little confused, that's for sure. Because they lack clarity in the kitchen. There's a big difference between someone who's been cooking for 20 years and someone who's never been in the kitchen before. That's it. The lack of clarity is the catalyst for anxiety, tension, frustration, burnout, overwhelm. I mean, this fucking list goes on and on and on. Getting clear is so foundational to supporting a long-term vision that's in alignment, first and foremost, with your core values and defining in many terms and patterns how you want to get there. Patterns such as the type of behavior you want to be demonstrating in your daily life, the type of behavior that you don't want to be participating in your daily life, how that sits in alignment with achieving your goals, and the map that gets inevitably created by you getting clear and having clarity looking forward into the future. So many people struggle with clarity because there's no premeditated work that sits before the action. So I'm definitely someone who takes action, and someone who takes action sometimes before thinking things through in their entirety. And what ends up happening is a forced pivot. Now, this is not something that was just naturally in me before. I mean, it's a learned skill. Most of everything you learn in life is something that needs to be taught, practiced, learned, and lived into with intention. Because when we lose sight of our presence and we're foggy on clarity things really slip off the rails. And I've been there plenty of times. There were days where I remember just kind of having a fucking mini meltdown, because in my mind I was thinking about all of these to-dos, which were really the enemy of clarity in a way, because it narrows your focus to the point that you forget about zooming out and you forget about the bigger picture and the alignment process that needs to happen in order for you to stay on track, to be able to get locked in on a perpetual road being defined by big bright lines. Like a contract with yourself, doing the work, putting in the time, getting clear as a mechanism for you to be able to live inside a system that works for you based on your values and your aligned action. So breaking it down into more manageable bite-sized chunks. Setting up signals and patterns of behavior for yourself, coupling with a reward system that doesn't deviate from being in alignment with where you're looking to go. It's vital to being able to stack habits. It's vital to being able to create habits for yourself that makes things easier and without resistance to be able to slip right into flow. We do this by reverse engineering the process, by setting up cues that send signals to our brain that over time compound into a state of flow, and removing all resistance from that process. So moving our bodies, as we know, is foundational to a successful life. It's a great way to reduce depression, anxiety, stress, all of these negative attributes of the human experience that so many people struggle with. I heard this a few days ago, and I tend to believe it because I know in myself that when I exercise regularly, which is all the time basically, unless I'm dealing with some kind of injury, which I was up until recently. I hadn't trained for 20 days, which is really not that big of a deal, but it does compound when you're used to a certain performance standard and then you have to stop because you know you want to continue. And if you don't stop, it will just prolong the injury. So it was a little bit of a game, a little bit of a trade-off that I had to play with myself. And so the point is that if we don't move our bodies, we atrophy. We get depressed. Things are not working as they should. And over time, that erosion of identity really sinks in to something that is more palpable than just kind of having a couple of off days. The weight creeps on very slowly, you don't even notice it, and eventually you just kind of drift off into oblivion because you haven't been living in alignment with staying sharp, staying focused, coupling your actions and your thoughts with your goals and your behaviors to be able to achieve the thing you want. What do you want? Getting clear removes all confusion. Getting clear lays out a path for you to live into, and certainly you're going to deviate a little bit, but bringing you back, grounding yourself as much as possible is the practice. High performance requires continuous practice. Without it, we will fall short every single time because the practice is the process of living in, based on your goals and your core values, how you're going to show up every day. The choices you make, the words, the flow, the energy you bring to your life, how you choose to handle the pressure of life. All of these things revolve around your core values. How you choose to practice living into your core values as it relates to living into a system that you've created for yourself to be able to achieve your goals. So breaking simple steps down into more micro steps, getting more granular, will help you have more clarity and focus when establishing your system. Figuring out how you want to live your life as a general lifestyle will help you create more refined systems for you. Not everybody is going to want to do what you do, nor should they. It's an absurd idea. Creating a structure that is unique to your needs and desires is only specific to you, right? Obviously. Like, you don't necessarily want to take the same supplements that I take. We have different goals. We have different bodies. We have different systems, and it's not going to plug in the same way for me as it is you. So another analogy with this would be with regards to supplementation. I would say most humans are deficient in one form or another and require supplementation. How do we find out exactly what it is that we're deficient in? You get blood work done. Your blood work is going to be different than mine. That's the whole point of testing. So you get your blood work done, you see where you're deficient, and you correct. It's the same basic idea for personal development and living in alignment with where you're looking to go. Hiring a coach, working in group coaching environments, taking courses like the Growth Blueprint, like working with me in my coaching and guidance practice. These are all steps that drive clarity forward in your life to be able to have actionable systems that you can live inside specific to the outcome that you're looking to achieve in your life. It's hard as fuck to do it on your own. It's a struggle. I have a coach. I love him. Amazing. We work on very specific things, very specific outcomes, actionable results, measurable strategies that we can then refine as time goes on to ensure that we're still on path. Without support, we find ourselves lacking clarity because support in many ways is a sounding board, a mirror for space within your life to be able to refine processes and systems. To not take advantage of that is a missed opportunity for furthering your development, furthering your growth, getting more clarity in your life, to be able to see into the future, to be able to slow time down in a way that's meaningful to you in your life, to be able to create more space for the things that you want to achieve and participate in. Looking to spend more time with your family, friends, sporting activities, you name it. Without clarity, without a focus and emphasis on getting clear first, we struggle. And it's only natural because most people don't thrive in chaos. Most people succumb to negative emotional states. The whole idea is to alleviate that as much as possible. The whole idea is to create space within yourself to see into the future and have a profound vision that you can then reverse engineer into actionable steps so you could live into, so you can have clarity in your daily life, not just in the long-term, month-long vision board, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. Getting clear. It took a while for me to figure this out in a profound way that was really meaningful to me in my life. And it's one of the most important principles that I've laid out in the Growth Blueprint and my coaching and guidance practice curriculum, because it has such an impact on the trajectory of all the effort and energy that you invest in your personal growth and development. It's a continuous daily practice that I am engaged in, and I support my clients as a foundation within this concept of clarity. Because it's almost like not knowing who you are and then getting lost in that thinking about what actions to take. And then because you're feeling lost and confused, you can make mistakes that set you off on the wrong path. And that's fine if you have the tools to be able to pivot and course correct and acknowledge that you are in fact going off path, and how quickly you can reclaim that power is the practice, is the magic of being in a growth-oriented mindset. It's not about getting frustrated when that happens. It's about accepting and pivoting back to alignment. And so within the coaching and guidance practice, we have tools that we establish to be able to shape and to course correct more effectively than if we were to do it on our own. The simple process of having an ongoing dialogue with someone in a structured way that moves progress forward drives clarity in your thinking, and then to be able to take action on that thinking. So coaching is very much about defining systems for a process of accomplishing goals and objectives, and supporting accountability through conversation with clients to be able to ensure that they are living up to the standard that we have established. How you do this on your own is very possible, but it becomes more challenging. And it's all about leveraging the work in core values. If you're new to this channel and or me, you know that core values is foundational to everything that I talk about, because it really sets the tone for every thought, every action, every decision, every choice, every move every idea, whether you choose to take action on it or not, without clarity in your core values, you are essentially giving up autonomy to other people, to society, to a culture to choose for you. Which is how sometimes people find themselves 20 years into a career to wake up one day and realize that they fucking hate it. That they fell trap to something that was essentially pushed onto them by forces that were not yet known at the time, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. The list goes on of people that I've spoken to, that I've heard express themselves about essentially rediscovering their true self so late in life. And with that often comes both a love-hate experience within yourself of clarity and also shame, because it's inevitable that the regrets pile up about all the quote-unquote perception of lost time. But these are also just constructs within the way that our mind works and the process of getting clarity, because it's a skill, it's a learned skill, how to develop systems that derive the output of clarity. Without a system to live inside, it's like a ping pong back and forth that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Getting locked in with big bright lines is setting up guardrails for yourself. But all of this needs to take place first within yourself. It cannot be anything else other than you doing the work through a process of answering questions and leading yourself forward to being able to have a foundation for which you can live inside every day, for which you can take action that's in alignment with a new way of thinking about how you want to feel, who you want to support, the outcomes that you're choosing to align your actions to. I have to say it's pretty gorgeous here right now. I have to say it because I'm never here at sunset, and I forget how beautiful it is sometimes. Super grateful to be here in this moment with you, sharing experience, to be able to support you on your journey. I would love to be able to connect in a more profound way with you. And the best way to do that is by leaving a comment with questions and things that you would like for me to address in my FlowState episodes. And the comments that I read will be answered on these episodes. So I've done this before. I continue to do so. As our channel grows, we've just passed 100,000 plus views, which is pretty great. And I look at this metric as the totality of the impact that we have, especially on YouTube. So if you have a question and you would like it answered, drop a comment ask the question and I will answer it. If you're looking for something more private, you can follow the links in the description and join Everyday Action, which is our private community of individuals who are focused on personal development and growth. We have weekly group coaching calls. You can ask direct questions and I will answer them to you in the platform on the community. You can check out everydayactioncoach.com, the show notes, drop a comment. If you're interested to take it to the next level, there's the growth blueprint. We offer 2 paths there. We have the first few lessons, 3 modules that I have made available for free at no cost. And then the rest of the program is paid. These address foundational pillars that every human contends with. Core values, growth-oriented mindset versus limiting belief mindset, managing your time, understanding time, aligned action, setting goals that are leveraged on all of the other foundational work that you do. So much of what we battle against every single day is not taught in school. It's not taught by our parents, by our society to be able to allow ourselves to do the things that we want to do in our life without the sense of being depleted, without the sense of having to look beyond what's alive in us. You already have all the answers within you. It's a question of how you tap into them. That's where guidance and coaching comes in. That's where a community effort comes in. To be able to ping pong ideas and to get clarity on our thinking. Reflect on the last conversation you had with one of your best friends, someone who you can just fucking talk about anything with. And just reflect on when you brought up an idea to them about a project or how you were feeling about something. Maybe there was an opportunity for you to take action on, but you felt overwhelmed by the idea, that you felt unsure of yourself, that you lacked confidence. Confidence is a learned skill. It's a practice of consistently thinking about how one wants to feel, clarity within the process of what it is that you're doing, knowledge to support the actions and the desired outcome, or the awareness of a lack of knowledge to support the outcome, which creates a direction for you to take to be able to close the gap effectively from where you are currently to where you're looking to go. Closing the gap and opening up a new world of possibility is what we do here on this channel. We do it in one-on-one sessions. We do it as a collective where we can support each other and drive progress forward. We have a moment to be able to experience life. And it may seem like an eternity to some, but to others, it goes by like this. And the older you get, the faster things go. Do you have children? Time speeds up. Are you actively engaged in creating an exuberant life for yourself? Time speeds up. I don't only work with people who are struggling because they haven't been quote unquote successful on paper in their life. I don't only work with people who are successful on paper in their life. It's the entire gamut of an individual who's looking to make a more profound difference in the world, to be able to enrich their life in ways that they didn't think were possible, to course correct when they lost the spark. They may have a great family, killer job, but in some way they lost the feeling of the exuberant life force that is within them on their daily life, in the mundane aspects of everyone's life, where we can focus on bringing the motherfucking joy to everything that we do, to inspire us to show up in a premeditated way of thinking that amplifies how we want to feel, how we want to connect, how we want to love, how we want to receive love. Presence is at the forefront of this. Presence is the thing that defines our ability to be focused or in alignment with our actions. It's the thing that we think about the least because we're so distracted in our reactions to the world around us that we often forget about the thing that's right in front of us. It's mind-blowing to me. You can be having a conversation with someone and you can see right in their eyes, but they're already thinking about things to say. They're already on to the next thing. Our attention spans have disintegrated. And to bring that back, to tap back into your power, to reclaim your presence, to get clear on your life, to get clear on how you are going to show up for yourself, and then actually fucking do it. It's one of the most electric feelings, and I just got fucking goosebumps about it. Oh my God. Getting hyped up. All right, I gotta pee. Sorry. Enjoy the sunset here. Much better. Much better. So I'll bring it back to an example that's very fresh in my mind. I had a realization that the platform that I was using was limiting my capacity to achieve the goals that I wanted to achieve. And I had clarity on what I was looking to do and how I was going to get there. But then this realization set in, and then I realized that I needed to change the back-end infrastructure of my coaching and guidance practice to be able to support you in a more meaningful way. And I had really just completed a huge amount of work, and I was getting ready to start getting my message out there, connecting with people, and making an impact in their lives by offering my services and products to them in a meaningful way that gives them the value and the tools that they need to then make a difference and make an impact. That is the point. That is my singular focus, is to impact the lives of as many people as possible and uplift the human experience for as many people as possible. And then creating a fucking ripple effect. And that's just contagious, you know? You want to be around people who are fired up. You want to be around people who are fucking A players and strivers and people who are leading, not reacting. You want to be around people who create new opportunities for growth and challenge you and are not timid in the way they address challenges in their life. But I had a moment. I had a little fucking freak out session. It didn't last very long, but it was there. And, you know, I felt uneasy about it for a couple of days. But within this process, I went back to my tools, my practice. It did force me off track. And this was right in the middle of my injury. I had just gotten injured and it was excruciating. In my back and shoulder is this, I forget what it's called, it's a muscle that is connected into the rotator cuff. And it fucked me up. And I'm standing there on my desk in super amounts of pain. The inflammation was just next level. I wasn't sleeping well. And all these things compound into things that propagate negative thinking or that force you off your path of excellence. And it's all in these moments that we test ourselves constantly. So I went through a few exercises with a specific outcome in mind, which is about clarity, which is about thinking 10 steps ahead into the future, and then coming back to the present moment about what next action should be taken that's in alignment with achieving those goals. So I made the very difficult decision at the time to say, okay, the reality is I have to stop what I'm doing immediately. I have to choose a platform that best serves my interests in the long term, bite the bullet in the present. I'm going to be investing one more month into having to rebuild everything. And then I can start back at zero to be able to do the thing that I had set out to do a month ago. And that stung because I was ready to go. Everything was all set. And then it just occurred to me that what I thought was possible with a particular platform, which was school, was maybe in fact possible, but not today. Maybe in a few years from now, all of the things that I wanted to do to be able to serve people more effectively, I needed to reanalyze the system that I was using. And it was so overwhelming at the time because I had just completed a huge amount of work. Now, what ended up happening when I got clarity through the tools and processes that I have created for myself, which are part of my curriculum in the Growth Blueprint and in the one-on-one coaching and guidance practice, is that I realized the work that I had invested wasn't for nothing, because it wasn't as though I needed to rewrite a bunch of course material or workbooks. That work had already been done, and it was the process of slowly getting clear on all of the underlying triggers that were extremely alive in me, systematically annihilating them until I felt this sense of levity, until I felt this sense of clarity and freedom and lightness, and my arm was still on fire, but it didn't fucking bother me because I was tapped into this next level vision for where I needed to go. So it's like the introspective nature of human minds, coupling with tools to be able to leverage when you actually need it, to be able to open up space and time within yourself, to be able to take action in alignment with where you know you need to go, all the while removing anxiety, stress, overwhelm, and burnout, et cetera, because all of these things are simply byproducts of unregulated emotional states, right? It's like you've lost control of your faculties because you lost control of clarity. You didn't know where you were going anymore. And I got overwhelmed by the lack of clarity because of one thought that I had in my mind at that moment. And it was just like, oh fucking shit. And it was a total little mental collapse. It was essentially 2 8-hour chunk days of analyzing, reconfiguring, analyzing options, getting clear, first principle thinking, and then taking action on the data that it provided me with. It was fucking crazy. But it's also a testament to the process and to the system and the disconnect of your emotional state to take action. That's like the main thing that I look to be able to help people with more than anything, is disassociating how you feel as a mechanism for taking action. You should not rely on your feelings as the catalyst for taking action. Because, you know, the sun is out, it's raining, it's snowing, you're hungry, you're sad, you're tired. All of these things play a huge role in then your next steps. And you shouldn't have to rely on your emotional state to take action. Oh man, let's sneeze again. So, focusing on a system that I know works, going through a series of steps that walk me through a process of getting clear, not succumbing to my emotional state before taking action, and also removing the current emotional state with taking action. If you're interested in learning more about these tools and methods, drop a comment, subscribe to the newsletter, download the 10 Steps to Everyday Action, join Everyday Action, the group coaching that we do, sign up for one-on-one guidance and coaching, where I teach the growth blueprint as a curriculum basis for which we then use to do more meaningful and deeper work within your life, to be able to refine your life in a way that amplifies your efforts. This is what we do. This is the whole point, to be able to accomplish more with less, to be able to create space within you so you can feel the levity, so you can feel the clarity in your life. It's such a profound feeling. And those moments of intense turmoil, being released like a balloon full of water being popped by a child with a needle and a giant fucking smile on their face. Or a steam engine releasing pressure before it blows the whistle. You know, it's just, sometimes it's just too fucking much. And that's when people snap. That's when people break down. And you need tools to be able to navigate these challenges, which are inevitable in your life, because that's fucking life. You can't control everything. You can't control the way you feel. You can only control the way you react or the way you respond. I mean, in essence, a reaction is involuntary. So you need to be really dialed in to be able to react in a way that is in alignment with how you would respond. Not quite there yet. It's a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. And that's the beautiful thing about growth, is that it doesn't end. I mean, there is a time where it will end. On the permanent side of things, feeling pressure every day in a way that is not serving you can't feel good. Being dependent on a cacophony of pharmaceutical medicines cannot feel good. Not being tapped in to the exuberant life force that is within you. Not being truly alive within yourself, in control of your faculties. Bringing you back to center in a meaningful way that will project forward a life for you that is sustainable and feels easy That feels good. That feels like you're tapped into your power. That feels like you have something to stand up and fight for every day. That's a life worth living. That's a life of alignment, calm and center. A life of service to the people that you love and care about, and strangers, the way you show up, the way you hold yourself, the way you think about yourself. All of these things are tied back to the same idea. The center force of your own existence. You are your own universe. So choose your values, or they will be chosen for you. Choose your path, or it will be chosen for you. Certainly there are things to leave up to chance, but there are things that you want to hold on to, and you want to lead with purpose. You want to lead with conviction and clarity to be able to do the things that are meaningful to you. Not in 20 years, but right fucking now. And on that note, I'm going to leave you yet again for another amazing week. Flow state. I felt good today, connected with you. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate you being here, being part of the conversation, taking meaningful action in your life. This is what it's all about. Showing up, putting in the reps, doing the work, amplifying your efforts so that you can do and feel what you want out of life. Check out the show notes for all the links. Sign up for the Everyday Action community. Drop a comment. Let me know how I can best support you. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.